I don't want to get too cocky, but I feel like you have to get both your players here.
Are your two players O'Neal Cruz and Ellie De La Cruz?
Yes, they are. But I went second, so I get a rebuttal. Is your other player Louis Varland?
No.
No!
It was.
Oh no! I was thinking of the wrong player.
You're the too hard.
We're back. The Deep Drive, episode 5. I'm your co-host, Han Rungta, here with my co-host, as usual, Max Goldstein. With the same, we got the same backgrounds going on, but I feel like every episode, my facial hair starts to get a little more intense. But Max is always like kind of like the same look. It's kind of like me aging on camera in real time, and Max looks the same, which is good. We have one co-host that always looks fresh. But Max, how are we doing? The Tigers have won a few games since we last talked. So
I know, it's a miracle.
You have a smile on your face for a change.
Yes.
Today's episode should be pretty straightforward, right? The trade deadline is past us. We talked pretty in-depth about almost every single major move that happened at the trade deadline last week. We're in that period where a lot can be said with very few words. And that's what we're going to try to do today for the upcoming month or so of regular season action. While a lot of people aren't really paying attention, we're going to be. But it's also NFL season around the corner. And if you want NFL futures bets, and if you want fantasy football content all NFL season long, join up the Discord. The link is in the description if you're watching on YouTube. And it's also in our title if you're watching on Twitch. And appreciate Peter Gazer for following. We're on Twitch right now. We're on Twitch live every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time for this podcast. And shout out to Peter Gazer for giving the follow. Be like Peter and join us for the streams. And Peter asks, play of the day for WNBA. All our bets, WNBA and MLB for tonight, are going to go in the Discord. So join up the Discord. It is still free right now. And that link is in the title of the Twitch episode or the link in the description if you're watching YouTube. But for now, we're talking some baseball here, and I think it's a good transition from our trade deadline episode to now to talk about the flip side of what we've been talking about the last couple of episodes. The last couple of episodes, we've been talking about players that we like going forward. It's time to get negative. So there has been some concern around some players across the major community, among the MLB community. A couple of players have not really surprised us, their struggle, right? Eugenio Suarez, if you've been watching the podcast, Seth Lugo, if you've been watching the podcast, these are players that we threw out the red flags on. And Eugenio Suarez has a -2 WRC plus as a Mariner. Max, is it time to say like he might go off at any point with that caveat, but we might have told you so?
There's still like the rest of August, so like almost 3 weeks, and then the rest of the regular season. So we can't say we told you so, but we were hesitant, rightfully so, that Suarez could keep producing at like a silver slugger level. And I mean, he's only come up to the plate 41 times with Seattle, but it's been a ton of strikeouts. He's walked twice, only 1 home run. So he's been terrible with Seattle. But like before with Arizona, like when he was going so well, like he was definitely lucky. And now he's over this last stretch, maybe he's been seeing better pitches or he's had some hard hit outs. So he's been unlucky now. But I mean, overall, and I think this is what we were saying before they traded for him, he's probably not as good of a hitter as people think. And maybe that's why Seattle didn't even get that much in return. And his like predictive weighted on base average, which is like my version of weighted on base average, and it's a similar idea to expected weighted on base average, which is Statcast's stat, but except it's aiming to be predictive. His is actually below average the last 2 years. So that metric doesn't really like Suarez. But just about the whole, like we said, I'm not sure you want to trade for Suarez. It's nice to see order in the world where we're kind of right and he's not doing as well. But usually I feel like it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and like when the postseason starts and gets 4 hits in a series and all of them are home runs, like Seattle will not be surprised if that happens, and neither will we, right? Like it's completely at the end of the day, it's for all intents and purposes irrelevant what he's done in this 41 plate appearance sample when the postseason starts. And I still think that, like you said, Suarez is not the hitter that he was at the beginning of the season. This was the definition of peaking. And at the same time, like Seattle made a good move trading for another bat because it does add a power dimension to the lineup that, like, would you rather have Ben Williamson in the lineup or Eugenio Suarez? And the answer is always Eugenio Suarez, right? So when the playoffs start, you have someone that can hit home runs in bunches if he's timing, if his timing is on at the time, and if they make a World Series run because Eugenio Suarez, Josh Neal, Randy, and Julio were all hot at the same time, not even counting Cal Raleigh, who's like is in MVP consideration, but if the other 4 guys in that lineup are hot at the same time, which is very close to being the case right now if Suarez figures it out. Like, if they get that in October, I think they can win the pennant, which is why I called them a contender last week. So it was a good move for Seattle. And like I said about the Yankees a couple weeks ago, I think Suarez's truth is somewhere between that peak and what he has at right now. But it shouldn't surprise you that there are struggles involved. Seth Lugo, 35-year-old pitcher with not amazing stuff, has a 7.53 ERA in 3 starts since our trade deadline preview. And Max, you pointed out that he's actually walked more batters than he has struck out, which is wild for a pitcher that people were calling like 2 years ago as like a command pitcher, which is how you would view most of his career. So that's wild to me. I did not know that. And his fielding independent pitching is even worse at 7.57. Any more comments than we've already dished out on Seth Lugo? Because I feel like bro might be what we know of Justin Verlander this year. Bro might be getting to that level in a hurry, and it feels weird to say that a few weeks after he got a contract extension.
Yeah, it's funny because he's been so bad after that extension, but I think it's a coincidence, really. But he's not a Cy Young type pitcher. I mean, he's probably like a number 4, number 5 starter. I know his ERA, people love to look at ERA, and his ERA is still good at 3.46. But really, ERA is it's I mean, it's convenient to look at, and I like for my pitchers and the pitchers on my favorite team, the Tigers. I like for their ERAs to look good, but like ERA is not a good stat at all, especially in just one season. So like he's never been a strikeout guy, as we said before, and his control is good. It hasn't been recently, but the big thing is he's been giving up so many home runs. Like, I mean, he's definitely close to giving up the most in the majors this year, which he can't afford to do that. So, I mean, yeah.
And especially when you walk people, right? Like I feel like prime Justin Verlander. I don't know why I'm in the mood to bring up Justin Verlander today. I'm bring up like every version of him. But like I feel like prime Justin Verlander was like the epitome of like he would give up so many home runs and still be a Cy Young contender because he would. That's all he would give up, right? The solo home run. You can't walk more hitters than you strike out and also give up home runs. It's just not a recipe for a major league pitcher. It's weird to see how bad he's become, and I do think his decline is sustainable. I don't think it's a smokescreen. I think next year he is not going to be a good pitcher, and I will gladly plant my flag on that. Speaking of planting flags, I've said a lot about this name in the past. I'll let you take over for this one. Is there a chance Mookie Betts is still a great player again in the near future? You tell me.
I hope so, since he's on one of my teams in fantasy, but we've definitely talked about him before as well, and maybe like he's gonna get into the Hall of Fame one day, and he's been a really good hitter almost every year. So maybe a good reason why he's not been even close to the hitter that we've seen in the past. Maybe he's still not himself physically. I mean, his season didn't start off well where he got sick, he lost weight, and then of course he stubbed his toe in the dark bathroom a couple months ago. He fractured it. So like that would explain why he's not been good, but maybe it also could be age catching up to him. But in the last 6 games, his weighted runs created plus, it's over 200. It's a super small sample, obviously, but he's been hitting a lot of line drives, more hard hit balls compared to what he's been doing this year. And he probably, like even last year, like we said before, he was showing some signs of decline, but he was still a great hitter last year. But he probably isn't like an MVP type hitter. He won't probably be that again, but he has to be better than like this year he's been a below average hitter, and that's hard to believe. So I feel like he's a perfect player to target in a trade just because he's been so incredible throughout his career. And it's not like he's not Justin Verlander age. I think he's like 33 maybe. So like it's not like he shouldn't be like his decline. If this is really what he is, it's pretty like it happened very quickly.
And
I think
but for what it's worth, I want to say like I know some members of the Verlander family, and was not anticipating us bring up Justin Verlander so much, and we found a way to bring up Justin Verlander while talking about Mookie Betts. I think that's just impressive. So pat ourselves on the back for that one. But yeah, Mookie Betts is 32 years old. Like it's weird to see like such a quick decline from age like 30 to 32, because over the last 2 years is where we've seen this sort of decline. And it wasn't really drastic last year, but we kind of saw it. I would like to say like this being sick at the start of the season thing is a more regular occurrence for Mookie. Like it happened like multiple times while he was with the Red Sox, which I can relate to. Like I get under the weather very often. But like he gets sick during spring training, and then he plays horribly during spring training, and then he's just like fine when the season starts. So I do think it's more than just like the health issues. The bat speed, like I mentioned, has been declining. Pretty much every like metric has been declining. It's not like he's hitting the ball great. It's not like the Max Kepler situation where he's hitting the ball into the outfield and they're just finding defenders, right? So, but if we keep talking about it, maybe he'll figure it out. And I mean, you put in our notes here. He has a 205 WRC plus last 6 games. Now, 6-game sample sizes, we'll be the first ones to tell you they don't really matter. But if your agenda is that Mookie Betts will be good in the near future, maybe it fits your agenda, so we can bring it up. But I hope for your sake, Mookie Betts does figure it out, because we want Max's dynasty teams or keeper teams or whatnot to do well. But it would be the funniest case would be that Mookie Betts figures it out just in time for the playoffs, since that's usually when he stops hitting the ball every year. So that would be a funny outcome, but it's safe to say, like, even if he doesn't figure it out, the Dodgers are contenders, which is wild to think about. But yeah, I mean, Shohei Ohtani and Max Muncy are competing for best hitter in the league right now. Max Muncy post eyeglasses, to be clear. We could do a whole another segment about Tommy Pham, Max Muncy, and the ophthalmologists. But yeah, Mookie Betts for now. We'll see if he figures it out this year. Pitcher side. Oh, yo. Okay, it's times like these that I wish I had sound effects set up, because I where is my moderator screen? Oh my God, Andy's gonna have to cut this out of the edit, I think, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Who the fuck just raided me? Oh, it's Trent. Oh shit, Trent. Max, are we familiar with the myth, the man, the myth, the legend, Book It with Trent?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, Max with the wry smile, I know exactly what he's trying to say. Yo, Trent, my guy. Much love. Appreciate you, bro. We randomly have 180 people watching right now. If you are coming live and have no idea what's going on, this is Max Goldstein. and I'm Ahan. A lot of you know me. We're hosting our weekly baseball podcast, The Deep Drive. While you're here, if you want to go to YouTube and type in Ball Institute, I will put this as a comment right now. Go sub up to the channel. It is free, and we're doing a giveaway at 500 subs. It's one click. If you like baseball and want to hear these podcasts after, then we upload them the day after. Go to the YouTube and sub up. But Trent, my guy, much love. I appreciate you. We haven't talked in a few days. I will be on your stream later on this week to give you the NFL nukes, I promise. But for now, if you're sticking around, just sit back and enjoy. We're talking baseball. We're currently talking about the concern meter. And the concern meter, we talked about Eugenio Suarez, Seth Lugo, Mookie Betts. Now we're about to talk some pitchers, and I know we got some Yankees fans in here. I see them in chat. So it's only right. Our next player we're talking about, Devin Williams. How concerned are we about Devin Williams? Because I know one person who's concerned about Devin Williams. It's Devin Williams, because he said a couple of days ago, frankly, I stink right now. He has one of the most, probably the only Yankees player where I feel like people are being too harsh on him, if anything, because he has one of the weirdest pitcher profiles of any pitcher in baseball right now. He has a 5.60 season ERA, but a 3.46 fielding independent pitching, 3.02 Sierra. For those who don't know what that is, it's skill interactive ERA. It's a little bit more predictive than ERA. I mean, it's a lot better stat than ERA. The strikeout rate is still down, but still his strikeout rate is over 30%. So this is still a pitcher that draws a lot of whiffs. Max, I want your perspective first. What's a concern meter for Devin Williams? Is it he's still a great pitcher and he'll figure it out maybe soon, or is it like something is up?
Well, it's interesting that you say Devin Williams said, I stink right now, because you don't hear that often from athletes, but he would probably tell you he doesn't care what his skill interactive ERA is. But the truth is he hasn't, like, that high ERA. That doesn't really represent his performance this year, because he's still getting a lot of strikeouts, not walking. He walks people, but his walk rate's not too high compared to what it's been. And then the key for me is that the stuff is basically the same as what it's been in his career. So he still has like the ingredients to be one of the top relievers. Like, it's just about executing his pitches maybe better. I think you referenced in our notes that his biggest thing, he doesn't always locate his pitches where he would be best doing so. So maybe maybe his command just has been a little off this year. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think this comment kind of summarizes what we're talking about, which is location, just as is the issue in real estate. But Devin Williams, his location plus, if you look at that metric, location plus what it does is it doesn't look into account of like where the catcher sets up his mid and where he actually throws it. That's not what it's doing. What it's doing is it assumes the intent of an average major league pitcher is what the pitcher is throwing based on count, right? So a breaking ball should go in a different part of the strike zone in a 2-0 count than a 1-2 count. So it takes into account the pitch type and the pitch count. And based off that, location plus tells you how good that pitch's location is based on that type, where it was in the strike zone. So, for example, if on an 0-2 count you throw a breaking ball middle, that's not great for your location plus. So by that metric, that's the one metric where Devin Williams has not been the most elite reliever in his entire career. His stuff plus has always been there, and in fact, his stuff plus is actually on well above league average, like you just said. So the problem here is location, and it brings up the overarching question, which is the Brewers catching lab and the Yankees catching lab might just have one of the biggest disparities in the league, because the Brewers catching lab is well advertised for they turn every catcher into at least a good defensive catcher or a good game calling catcher, or both, right? And William Contreras has turned into that. And many pitchers have gone through the system over the last few years on the Brewers and become good at calling pitches and being a good defensive catcher. And the Yankees catchers, like they develop catchers really well. Like Carlos Narvaez, who's been great for the Red Sox most of the season, he's a catcher that was developed in the Yankee system. The catchers develop, or the Yankees develop catchers really well on the offensive side of the ball. But when it comes to game calling and stuff like that, Yankees catchers have been criticized a lot this season by fans, and it's not just a smoke. It's not just fans yelling into thin air. Like there's legitimately been questionable locations with all these pitches. And I think that is a big problem for Devin Williams is he's throwing the wrong pitch. And he's obviously like throwing the wrong pitch on the wrong count. On 0-2, he's given up home runs. Like this happened multiple times. He's given up a bunch of 2-strike hits in high leverage situations. And that is a problem. And like you said, Devin Williams, he doesn't care that his stuff is great and he's given up a lot of hits. He cares that he's getting the outs. So I think Devin Williams is still a very good pitcher, but the Yankees have to figure out how to get him to locate and execute pitches that they want him to execute, or figure out if they're wanting him to do the wrong thing. I want to give a shout out to all the people who joined the raid and followed. Be like these people. Join the streams every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We're live talking baseball for the remainder of the season. So shout out to this is a long list. Again, shout out to Trent, man. Appreciate you. Remy Leo, ABFR Viva, my guy Skywalker Captain. I hope you're still here and still listening. That's my guy. Brock D, Dinger 1369, Jay Thorpe, Yumi Yak, Hickson, my boy Jovan. I was about to say Jovan for the memes. If you know, you know. Me name's Jeffrey, Sports Guy 582, Straight Locks, Big Rob, Demon of the Desert, JOKC Bets. Hey, I'm Matt, Grealish Cavs. What the hell is that username? Will Corona. I Active, Olasanya, Dream Warriors, Don't Fade 86, and S Redney 23. Shout out to all of you. And hey, you know what? Just because of that, once we finish this episode and we're done wrapping up this podcast, I'm going to stay on for a few minutes. F my medication for my shoulder. I'm staying on for a few minutes after the podcast to lab some WNBA with y'all because you deserve it. Let's continue with the podcast here. So we're talking about players that we're concerned about. The last player that we'll discuss here, I say this after he hit a double in a big spot yesterday against the Red Sox. But Cam Smith, before that double, had an 11 WRC plus since the All-Star break. He now has a 30 WRC plus since the All-Star break after last night. It's the third worst among 176 qualified hitters in that span. Cam Smith was a Rookie of the Year candidate in the first half of the season. I actually like him way better as a player than Jacob Wilson, who was the betting favorite at some point. Cam Smith, big part of the Kyle Tucker trade. They need him to be good because however you feel about Kyle Tucker, this was the biggest piece of the trade. I think Cam Smith is a good player, and I'll say that I'll just say it outright. Spoiler alert: I think this little struggle since the All-Star break is a smokescreen. I think he will be completely fine. The main difference between Cam Smith's first half and this half is that he's whiffing on the fastball. And if you look at Baseball Savant and his charts on whiff rate by pitches, the fastball has been the main problem. 24% strikeout rate early on in the season, was even lower in the middle. In July and August, it's been really bad, and pitchers are attacking him more and more with the fastball. Pretty simple recipe. But the 83rd percentile bat speed is very encouraging to me. It means that he's going to time the fastballs eventually. He has a talent to just get around those fastballs and have pitchers shift away. His biggest weakness has actually been the slider. He's been terrible against the slider. So that's how pitchers were attacking him early, but he was so good against the fastball that it was just fine. He would attack early. A lot of Astros hitters, they like to swing early in the count. And he was producing. Of course, there are holes in his swing because of the off-speed stuff. But I still think he's had a really good rookie season, and he'll be fine. And they don't even need him to figure it all out right now. Jordan's going to come back at some point. We've already discussed on this podcast. I think, Max, you and I both agree that this Astros team is really good, and specifically their offense can be the best in the league when Jordan comes back. And they'll contend for a pennant at least, even if they get somewhat suspect pitching. And if Cam Smith figures it out in time for October, it's going to be hard to beat this team. Is Cam Smith going to be fine?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I mean, players, it's a 162 game season, and players sometimes they're gonna have a few weeks where they don't hit as well as they typically do, and maybe it just so happens that he's not hitting as well. Like maybe he's not really doing anything wrong necessarily. Like I know Riley Green for the Tigers, he started the year terribly, but like I don't know that necessarily he was doing anything wrong. It could just be he like wasn't playing as well as he can play. Like my sport growing up, I still like it a lot is soccer, and like when I don't play a good game, it's not like I'm always trying to play my best, and sometimes maybe I don't play as well, and it just was a tough day. Like I'm not like a robot. Like athletes, no athletes are robots. They can't, or like you'll see in basketball, like maybe one day Klay Thompson goes 0 for 7, and maybe his mechanics on his shot, maybe they were perfect. He wasn't. Maybe his aim was a little off. Like, but then maybe the next day he'll go 4 for 5. Like just there's a lot of random stuff that happens.
I think Clay Thompson leads all human beings on the planet in mentions on our podcast, and that includes MLB players. So shout out to him. Yeah, I think like you said, 1.2 Fangraphs WAR on the season still for Cam Smith. He's a really good base runner. I think that's also going to be super important because that speed at the bottom of the lineup very important. I wish the Astros were as aggressive stealing bases as the Red Sox are when they face the Astros, or the Mariners are when they add Josh Naylor to the roster. If you know, you know. But regardless, the Astros offense will be completely fine if Cam Smith figures it out in time. They and the Blue Jays are likely, competing for 1 and 2 best offense in the American League. We have a question in the chat from S. Redney. Can I get thoughts on Ben Rice and Austin Wells? Who should be the starting catcher? Absolutely, because that's what the chat is for. It's for questions. I'll take this first because I am an OG Ben Rice stan, right? So I may be a little biased to get this out of the way. Ben Rice's defense has been an absolute adventure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe at some point he had not caught a base runner stealing as a catcher like this season. I still think that is a true statement. His framing is 65th percentile by Baseball Savant. His offensive profile is legitimately one of the best in the league. He is 95th or 92nd percentile or better in expected WOBA, expected batting average, expected slugging, exit velocity, barrel rate, hard hit rate, upper quartile in bat speed, squared up chase rate. Max, I know this is a concept we've discussed like one-on-one before, which is like, even if you're struggling against left-handed hitters, if you're like so good of a hitter against right-handed hitters, or if you were struggling against left-handed pitchers at a certain point in your season, if you are so good of a hitter against right-handed pitching that like even without splitting by platoon, like your stats can be that good, like maybe you should be an everyday player. So my priority for the Yankees is you have to get Ben Rice in the lineup every day because this guy is arguably your second best hitter, obviously after a healthy Judge. So I think Ben Rice has to be in the lineup every day, no matter what. And then you figure out the rest of the roster based on what you need that day. I think more of a concern for the Yankees is why the hell did they trade for Ahmed Rosario when he can't even play against left-handed pitching? So I'm a little more confused about Aaron Boone's lineup construction than I am about like the Ben Rice and Austin Wells situation. But my answer to the question is Ben Rice has to be in the lineup every day, and Austin Wells can be in the lineup if the matchup serves itself. Any thoughts, Max?
Yeah, I really like Ben Rice too. I mean, he's been an amazing hitter this season. So I think I agree that you want him in the lineup basically every day. I don't know if the answer is for him to catch almost every day because that I mean that's has to be tiring. And then Austin Wells, I know he's one of the best framers in the league. So I understand why they play him. He last year he was plus 12 runs framing this compared to average this year plus 7. And for a catcher, like pretty sure he's a good hitting catcher. So I mean, I get why the Yankees like he's also a good player, so I understand why they've been playing him at catcher, but I agree that the Yankees need to keep playing Ben Rice.
Yeah. Another question from Book of Chew. Can I get thoughts on Pete Armstrong? Should they call up Owen Casey and let PCA bat in Iowa? No. PCA should stay in the big leagues. End of story. Do you have added thoughts on this, Max?
I think it's like the same idea. Like,
Yeah.
if you thought that Pete Crow Armstrong is like an MVP candidate a month ago, then you shouldn't be debating sending him down. I mean, he's having an amazing season, and even last year he was a good player, even when he couldn't hit because he's such a good defender.
PCA and Cedar Rafaela competing for best defensive outfielder in baseball right now. I love Julio, but he's not quite there yet. So the people who are in my mentions always saying that Julio is a better defender than Cedar or PCA. Like, can we please relax? Can I enjoy Julio Rodriguez in peace? Like, Alex Cora fixed Cedar Rafaela by literally telling him, like, listen to the coaching staff and just like launch the ball more and you'll be fine. And you're going to be in the lineup every day because your defense is so good, even if you don't get a hit. Like, PCA should get that treatment as well. And PCA was a way, way, way better hitter than Cedar Rafael. So if Cedar got that treatment, so can PCA. And the Cubs offense is like fantastic, even if when PCA is in a slump. So let's relax there. I think this gets into our one mini game of the day. Usually we have two mini games on the pod, but we haven't played a 1v1 on the podcast yet. So let's do that. We're going to play guess each other's MLB players. We each have a duo of MLB players in the vault, and we have to guess each other's players with only yes or no questions. And they're both active players. I assume you have two active players, Max. Is that right? I don't know if I clarified that earlier, but I have two active players.
They've both appeared this season.
Got it. So you have two players. I have two players. We each have a theme for our duo. We don't know each other's theme. Max, the order really doesn't matter. I'll let you go first, and obviously, like, if you finish first and I pause. If you finish first, then I can always have a rebuttal since I'm going second. But Max, you can ask your questions first.
Okay. Are your players both hitters?
Both my players are hitters.
Okay.
I'll go.
Both?
No,
Okay,
it's my turn, so we alternate.
All right.
Are both your players on the same team?
They are not. No.
Okay, I was going a little too aggressive there. All right.
Yeah, because that doesn't tell you that much.
I mean, if the answer was yes, it does.
That's true. Are both of your players in the same league?
Both my players are in the same league. Are both your players in the same league? Steal the question.
Both of them are in the same league.
Okay.
Are both your players in the same division?
Both my players are in the same division.
Okay.
Are both your players position players?
No.
Hitters. Okay.
Are both your players in the American League?
No, both of my not both of my players are in the American League. That's the weirdest way of saying both of my players are in the National League. Are both of your players starting pitchers?
No.
Okay, that took a while. That's interesting.
I just want to make sure I answered it right. Are both your players? I want to figure out the division. Are both your players in the NL West?
No, they are not in the NL West. Are both of your? You said no to both as both starting pitchers, right?
Correct.
Are both of your players pitchers?
Yes.
Okay.
So are both players, now I'll figure out the division. Are both players in the NL Central?
They are both in the NL Central. Max, are both of your players in the same division?
No.
Wait, did I already confirm they were in opposite leagues?
I think you confirmed they're in the same league.
Oh, they're in the same league. Okay, yes. So that question was
same league, but not
the
same division.
Okay, so that was a reasonable question. Okay.
I guess this will help. Are both your players on the same team?
Both my players are not on the same team.
Okay.
Or so you said one of them. Okay. I think I've lost track. I should have taken notes. Are is one are both? God damn it! Is one of your players? Has one of your players recorded at least 20 saves this season?
I'm not 100%, but I'm very confident the answer is no.
Okay. If you lied, we can revoke your win, but because you're about
There's
to.
no way.
Yeah. Okay.
The
Got it.
answer is no.
Okay. Got it. Your
Okay,
turn.
so my next question is, are both these players rookies?
Both of these players. I'll say this: neither of the players are rookies.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm helping you when you're definitely in the lead. But neither of my players are rookies. Oh God, what even were the positions of your players? Okay, is one of your players as an infield? Because I think I confirmed that one of your players is a position player. Is one of your players an infielder?
No.
God
I think
damn.
you already established they're both pitchers.
Oh God.
So you're
Okay, since I helped you on the last one, you're gonna give me a second question because I'm just
fine.
you're gonna let me fix that. Okay, so is one of your players top 3 in odds on FanDuel for winning for the Cy Young Award this season?
No,
Okay,
that is a very specific question.
I needed something aggressive. What have you given?
Okay, so are both of your players outfielders?
No.
I guess that's not the best question, but
I mean, it's better than
okay.
whatever I'm doing because I have no idea where
That's
to
true.
go. Is the starting pitcher? Is it? I assume there's one starting pitcher, one reliever. Is the starting pitcher? Is your starting pitcher in the American League?
Yes. So now
Okay.
my next question is, I know they're both position players. Do they both play the same position?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Is your starting pitcher in the American League East?
The starting pitcher, no.
Who is interesting enough to? Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, this is tricky. I want to just find out the team. Is at least one of the players on a team? Is one of your players on the Brewers or Cubs?
No.
Okay.
Is your starting pitcher in the American League West?
No.
Are we serious right now?
Okay, so um are both of your players infielders?
No.
Okay.
Is your starting pitcher on the Tigers or Twins? And that's a yes
Yeah.
no question. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Um I just want to find out the teams. Is one of your players on the or both on the Reds?
One of my players is on the Reds.
Okay.
Is your starting pitcher on the Tigers?
No. So I know at least one's on the Reds. Is the other player that's not on the Reds, is he on the Pirates?
Yes, and I have a feeling you're closing into victory here. I gotta be aggressive. Is your starting pitcher Taj Bradley?
Yes.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
so
So
now
I
I have
got one before you, but you might get both
okay, so
immediately.
a red and a pirate. And they're both hitters.
Oh, this could be a good finish.
Yeah, I feel like getting one player is helpful. Red.
This is going to be Andy's favorite edit, the dramatic music for this game.
Is one of your players Cabrian Hayes?
No. Is your other player a relief pitcher in the American League East?
Just want to make sure I get the divisions right. Yes.
Okay.
So yours is not
I don't
right.
want to get too cocky, but I feel like you have to get both your players here.
I know.
I have a lead.
I'm just gonna make a guess because you're gonna get it if I don't. Are your two players O'Neal Cruz and Ellie De La Cruz?
Yes, they are. But I went second, so I get a rebuttal.
Okay.
Is your other player Louis Varland?
No.
No, no. I was so confident that that was a theme. Taj Bradley and Louis Varland. All right, who was your other player?
It was Griffin Jacks, the guy that was traded for Todd Bradley.
Oh no, oh no, I was thinking of the wrong
Here
trade.
the two are Taj
I thought Bradley and Louis Varland were traded for each other. Oh, I
and
suck
Griffin
so hard.
Jacks.
I suck so hard. I was thinking of the wrong Twins Blue Jays trade. Oh, that's crazy. I fumbled the back. I had victory in my grasp, and I had the wrong trade. Yeah, Ellie and O'Neal.
What was the theme? Just two tall guys that can crush the ball.
Yeah, the two players in the same division with the same last name that everybody compares to each other, even though they don't play anything like each other.
Well, they both.
But yeah, the theme was the last name. But
Yeah.
oh my god, that was brutal. I came. This was the fakest comeback. This was like the Red Sox fake comeback last night. I had victory in my grasp, or at least the tie on the second go, and I was thinking of the wrong trade. Good stuff, Max. Andy's gonna have fun editing that. I think it's time we close the show with one pick each of something positive, right? We want to end the stream on a happy note. We've been talking about players that have been struggling. Let's talk about flag plants for the remainder of the season. But before that, the last time we talked about flag plants, individual players we like to quote unquote break out or bounce back in the second half of the season was episode 1 of the show. And it's episode 5 now. Let's take a look at what we said back then. So you picked Dylan Cease as a bounce back candidate, and we did this episode at the All-Star break. So since then, Dylan Cease has a 3.12 ERA, 2.30 fielding independent pitching in 5 starts against Boston, St. Louis, the Mets, Miami, and Washington with a 27.4% K- walk rate. Pretty good pick from your end. I mean, the underlying stats were solid, which is why you picked him as a bounce back candidate. But the stats even better now. It is a 5-start sample, but Dylan Cease has been proving that he is a good pitcher. He's still is the best pitcher on the team. I don't know why this was a debate at the start of the season. Dalen Lau was my pick, and specifically, I called him so at the time he had a 77 WRC plus, and I called him someone that could be a doubles machine. Funnily enough, in the All-Star since the All-Star break, he has a 500 plate appearance pace of 39 doubles. So he has 6 doubles in that span. 118 WRC plus, no home runs, 2 stolen bases. So he's basically exactly what I thought he could become. And he did that immediately after the All-Star break. And he has 118 WRC plus in that span, which is almost 50 points. I can't math. It's 41 points higher than it was at the time. So I think 2 pretty good picks from us, but it's time to plant some more flags. I promise I did not pick my duo of O'Neal Cruz and Ellie De La Cruz before you picked this as your next flag plant. Max, why is O'Neal Cruz going to bounce back?
Yeah, so I feel like bounce back isn't even the right word, but like so far this year, his weighted runs created plus, it's 92, which 100 is average. Anything below that is below average. His expected, predictive, projected numbers, and even if you look at what he did last year and the year before, which that's probably that's some of the basis for the projected numbers, they all would suggest that he's a much better hitter than his 92 weighted runs created plus. His predictive weighted on base average, it's actually the 9th best in the league. he strikes out a lot, but I mean, it kind of goes in hand with this, but nobody hits the ball harder than O'Neal Cruz by exit velocity. He's fifth among qualified hitters in terms of the percentage of the balls he puts in play that are barrels, which to be a barrel, the ball needs to be hit at least 95 miles per hour off the bat. And then also it has to be like it can't be like launched towards the ground or too high. So the launch angle needs to be within a range. And the other thing with O'Neal Cruz is he's really fast. Like he has over 30 steals. Sprint speed is over 29 feet per second. I think I expect that he's going to do more damage on balls in play. And I think like if you were to ask major league pitchers, like, are you like, is O'Neal Cruz someone you want to face? And yeah, he strikes out, but I think probably all pitchers would be scared just because when he connects, like, I mean, he's capable of launching a baseball super far, or even if it's not super far, it's going to be probably something hard on the ground. But it would be pretty cool if he could hit the ball in the air more, which I'm obviously the Pirates want him to do that. But if he could continue to crush the ball but launch it, that would be probably he probably could do. He would hit more home runs, but obviously it's easier said than done.
I also think there's somewhat of a motivation factor with O'Neal Cruz. Like we talk about this with a lot of players, but for some reason with O'Neal Cruz, we like don't give him a pass, and it's kind of like all his fault. But with other players, we give them leeway. But like when you're on a bad team and you have moments where you're like don't show effort, it's like yeah, he's playing for a bad team. Like maybe if he goes to a winning team, he's going to be more motivated to play better. But like O'Neal Cruz has had several moments over his career where he like doesn't hustle to a ball in the outfield, or like he makes a base running blunder or whatnot. And like other players do this all the time too, on like less motivated, on like less motivated teams. And with them, it's like, yeah, get him to a contender and he's going to show more effort, show more passion, play better. But I do feel like O'Neal Cruz also has that little thing where like if his team gets better, like he's going to play better. And there's obviously no like, I can make the statement as a blanket statement because like there's no way to confirm this immediately, whether this is the case or not. But yeah, O'Neal Cruz, obviously like the upside is there. So I like this as a pick because like if he starts launching the ball more, we know he can post like 130 WRC plus. So I like this as a dart bro, like buy low now on O'Neal Cruz because the price is never going to get lower, so to speak. So I like that pick. I'm going to go with a pitcher this time. And I'm going to go with a guy that has a 5.11 ERA. So it's about like if you're in a fantasy league and the trade deadline is still open, or you play with a waiver wire where people are trading the waiver wire by looking at ERA and putting people on waivers, he might be on the waiver wire still. And it's 25-year-old Twins starting pitcher Zebby Matthews. Now, shout out to him for giving up a home run to Cody Bellinger yesterday. I bet on that. Desperately needed that because we had a bad MLB betting week last week. But Zebby Matthews has a 3.33 fielding independent pitching, 2.95 expected fielding independent pitching, 3.03 Sierra skill interactive ERA on the season. Like I said, still 25 years old, but specifically, he has 108 stuff plus, 112 pitching plus, and a 2.76 Sierra in his 25 innings pitched since the All-Star break. That his Sierra of 2.76 ranks number 6 among 77 qualified pitchers in that span. For reference, Paul Skeens, I believe, is at a 2.75. On the season, he has a 104 stuff plus on his four seam, 103 stuff plus on his changeup. Axiomatically, that means it's slightly above average. But 124 stuff plus on his sinker, 124 stuff plus on his slider. Like this to me is a potential like number 2 starter, like cemented in a rotation. And the Twins have developed some really good starters in recent years, such as Joe Ryan. I think Zebby Matthews, I mean, last week we talked about Taj Bradley potentially being a number 2 guy. I think Zebby Matthews can be just that as well. He has a lot of pitches that are already good. And the problem has been the fastball has just been horrible location-wise, the stuff has been mediocre, but location-wise has been really, really bad. He's given up a lot of hard contact on those fastballs. The changeups have also stuck out in the middle of the zone. So if he can get a little bit more command on his fastball, start painting them instead of leaving them over the plate, that alone can make him a solid starter. And the Twins have done much more with pitchers in recent history. I mean, I remember when veteran Dallas Keuchel was picked up off the streets, and he had a 6-start span where he was unstoppable. So if they can do that with Dallas Keuchel, and they haven't made too many changes to the pitching staff recently, I think Zebby Matthews can really be someone you can bank on next year as like a dynasty buy. So he can do it as soon as this year, which is why I'm throwing the dart now and saying him now, because he's already been improved the last few starts. But next year for sure, I'm buying all the stocks for Zebby Matthews. Max, that's going to conclude episode 5 of The Deep Drive. Like I said, we're live every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Max, do you have any closing thoughts, any words of wisdom for the audience, since last time I cut you off while you were potentially about to say something brilliant?
I was just going to say, I really like the Zebby Matthews pick. I mean, I know the ERA is not good, but we already said ERAs, that's not how you want to evaluate a pitcher, maybe ever, but certainly not in one season. And I agree that he's a good pitcher. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching.
Shout out to Book It with Trent, of course, as usual, sending us these viewers. If you want to join these streams every week and ask us questions, like some of us in chat, some of you in chat have today, join us twitch.tv/AhanR every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm also live other times as well, but if you want notifications for all my bets and fantasy football content coming up when we go live on Twitch and more podcasts, not just the Deep Drive coming soon, wink, wink, join the Discord. The link for that is in the description of the YouTube video. But until then, we'll see you for episode 6 of the Deep Drive.